What's up, Juventus? We have a ton to discuss in the news around Juventus. It starts with the Coppa Italia as the bracket is set for Juve to make their title defense. We'll take a look at that. 2 contract extensions that were finalized yesterday. We'll look at the details. You've got an interesting interview with Giuntoli, and he does touch on the latest hot topic of Dusan Vlahovic. Then Douglas Luiz, can he get into the lineup tomorrow? Well, Motta surprises all of us as going from giving us nothing impressors to giving us everything. He laid all his cards out on the table. We have tomorrow's full lineup, and there are some surprise selections. Let's go through it all together right now. I'm Berto. This is the AJ's Here channel dedicated to Juventus. It's September 27th. Let's rock with the news, and we're going to kick things off with the Coppa Italia. The brackets are set, and Juve will start their defense in the round of 16 against Cagliari. And if we want to get ahead of ourselves and take a look at the rest of our half of the bracket, that looks pretty damn sweet for us, making a good, healthy run at looking at defending our title. Do you think Juve will defend their title? Let me know in the comments section. We get to 2 contract renewals now. Yesterday, Pinsolio finalized to 2026. This one, nothing to really say here. Stands as a homegrown player, happy to be third string keeper, all right, and doesn't create any issues whatsoever. He's actually very well liked in the locker room. No brainer. Imbangula, he gets his contract extension to 2028. This makes now 16 of 26 players at Juventus that are on contracts of 4 years or more. So Giuntoli definitely setting things up for the long term. Speaking of Giuntoli, a very good interview with Corriere dello Sport was finalized. Here are some of the key points coming out of it, all right? Plan B to Motta, because there was uncertainty at the beginning of the Mercato if we were going to land Motta. He says, of course there was a plan B. Refused to give the name, but said it was a foreign coach and currently active in Europe. This is interesting because we always asked if there was going to be a foreign manager ever hired by Juve, and he says plan B was a foreign manager. This shows me Giuntoli willing to go off the cuff. Calafiori, any regrets? He says, a regret for Italian football, but not Juventus, because all the top teams signed defenders, and he was not one of them. And we should be looking at keeping a player of his caliber in Italy. So no regrets from Juve, but Italian football. And in the end, he did go a different route. But the big one, Vlahovic, and asked about the Vlahovic problem, and he simply said, problem? No. He said a player that's worth a lot, who represents a lot, is an asset. He said the renewal is a goal and it will be completed. So there's Giuntoli's words on Dusan Vlahovic. Okay, now in some quick hitter news around questions that keep coming in from fans. Pogba, we still know nothing. We wait for the verdict. If the suspension is upheld, it will be automatic termination for Paul Pogba from Juventus. For Arthur, despite being on the Champions League list and everything, plan is still to say goodbye in January. And Pesotto, when it comes to Pesotto, he will be in the board of directors at Juventus, expected to be voted in either today or tomorrow, all right? So a nice story there with Pesotto, who spent many years with Juventus, all right? Now we get to Douglas Luiz. We've been hearing news of the training this past week that he's done and trying to integrate into the team, and it going very well. Is he set to start? Does he get in tomorrow against Genoa? Well, to much of our surprises when it comes to this, Motta gives us the entire lineup in his presser ahead of this game tomorrow. And I'm going to remind you all, we're live at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, getting hyped up for this game. But early news with this game, closed doors, all right? So apparently, because of the clashes that happened in the derby for Genoa, there is going to be no visiting fans, and there might not even be any home fans. We're waiting, but the announcement is set to be made later today on this game. As far as Motta's presser goes, like I said, when it came to Luiz, he was asked, and he said he worked very well this week. Asked about Conceição is available. He is on the squad list that you see there. Dusan, he says, worked very well. He said he needs a team, but the team also needs him. It has to come together. For Gatti, he says he will be on the squad list, but he congratulates him first off on the birth of his daughter, all right? And then when it comes to his lineup, it is already decided, and this is a surprise. He says Perin, Kalulu, Danilo, Bremer, Rohi, Out on left back, McKennie Fagioli with Nico Gonzalez, Co-Miners, Yildiz, and Vlahovic up top. So some surprises there. Cabal not getting back in the lineup. Cambiaso being rested for Champions League. Locatelli, I understand that. Thuram not getting in here. Maybe a bit strange. This is wild for Motta. Giving us nothing before to just come flat out and lay it on the line. I got to say here, this lineup, McKennie and Fagioli in the middle of the park. A little bit of a question mark there for me personally in what I expect out of this game. Rohi, that is a surprise to me as well, getting his debut in this game. I probably would go with Cabal. I'm kind of curious why Cabal, with such a good start to the season, hasn't been able to get back in even rotationally. So this is interesting. As for the rest, I have no problems, but you guys know the drill. I lay it out for you to play it out. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC Army, but let me know what you think about all the news you just heard here today, and let's mix it up, and I can't wait to see you all live tomorrow for this game. As always, fino alla fine, forza Juventus, ciao tutti.